Welcome to the session. It's an honor to be part of the session. So, I think I'll be telling you the magic trick of career progression and how digital literacy is going to be helpful, you know, in your careers going ahead. Before jumping and in the session, I would like you to take a recap of a causal effect theory. Essentially, we all know that whatever happening today has has causes way back in our life. So anything that goes around us today or in the past has multiple causes which has happened way before them. And anything that is happening today, in the future will be because of few causes that is right now happening because of the choices we are making right now, right? So bottom line is this causes, effect, and the choices. These are the keywords that you need to keep in your mind. You already know it, but sometimes in the rush of our things, we forget these very basic principles. Just to again re-emphasize the same point. So the idea is that what I want to tell you is that wherever you want to reach, whether you want to become an entrepreneur or a CEO, you're running your own business at this moment. You want to make sure that that becomes that re, that business becomes multifold, grows like 3x, 5x, 10x. Everything that you need to put a end objective in your mind, and you have to work backwards. That if this is the effect I want in my life, what all those activities, what all causes that can happen so that any business or I can actually reach to that point. So you need to create your own causes and effect map in your mind, and that will only happen when you are working backwards from your end objective. So that is important, how to look at this diagram. So I'll be going a little, I'll try to pace my presentation, faster and slower based on the the material on that slide. So we'll talk about the key takeaways from this session is going to be the why of everything. You guys must be coming from multiple fields, multiple sectors. You may be having multiple roles. Somebody may be an engineer, somebody may not be an engineer or a manager or different sectors. I'll touch upon the core fundamentals, something that cut across horizontally across all the sectors, and it is very fundamental of what we do. And then that why of everything will also tell you why do we need a digital literacy part. Digital literacy, you guys are already digital literate. You guys are using Zoom. You guys are making, scanning a QR code, making a payment. I'm dead sure that you're using multiple tools. You are already digitally literate. However, talk about certain tools which are maybe very, very core to our jobs, day-to-day jobs that we do. Since digital literacy eventually will lead to tools that will actually increase our productivity multifold, I'll talk about few things, a few important which I came across. I'm sure that it's a non-exhaustive list. So I'll tell you the basics. I'm sure you can figure out your own tools which may be better, may not be there in the list today that I'm actually mentioning. And then I talk about there is an entire plethora of factors that actually tells you how to have effective conversation in your career to grow. However, I'll talk about the main core of it, which actually help leapfrogging in your career, leapfrogging into a more successful orbit whenever you move ahead. So the most fundamental, the why of everything is nothing but time. It is the most precious commodity. We think it is free. However, the moment it is gone, come what may, we cannot buy it back. It's free but priceless. We can use it, but we cannot store it, right? So there are a lot of things that we need to ensure that we are utilizing this time. Whether it is a spiritual, spiritual people says that every moment, every breath you're taking, so they count the breath as the unit of the time. We may look at hours, man hours, or weekdays, the billing hours essentially. So, the idea is that what is the difference between a successful vis-a-vis an ordinary person who may not have making such a mark in their life as of now, is because of this time. How are you using this time? It is connected with your cause and effect theory. A lot of times the effect comes after 10, 20 years. You may have been studying, you took your BTech degree or MTech degree or MBA based on whatever path you have taken so far. So, generally when we look at since we are not center spiritual figure at this moment, we'll talk about working hours. So we need to use time as a unit, as a guidebook to calibrate our careers. The same principle applies to our life. We can calibrate our life as well, but bottom line is this: how are my 8 working hours, right? Is there any trick? Is there any way I can multiply these 8 hours into 80 hours and get a huge amount of output from this. And is this way that I'm actually suggesting is some kind of a tool or something, or even if it is a tool, what kind of tool? Because you cannot open a nut, because you must have seen these two icons. I am suggesting that you cannot open a nut with a screwdriver, right? So I'll straight away jump onto this, the slide. And you, when I say you and me, your 8 hours and my 8 hours must be different, right? You have to take this as an exercise that you have to write how are your 8 hours, or how is your daily schedule looks like, right? And then I'm sure a lot of us actually do a mind planning that, okay, I'll be doing this thing, this thing, this thing. We look at big rocks and small rocks and see how they're fitting into a day-to-day life. And we try to close and done. This is done, this is done, this. This is a to-do list kind of a things. There are multiple apps, but bottom line, this is how generally we do our day planning. What I want, or what I would suggest to you, that can you, or is it possible for you to segregate your day into a me time, the time that you're actually spending with yourself, only with yourself, nobody around you, only with yourself, no device, nobody around, right? No book. And then you have to see, basically, when I say me time, is basically you and your thoughts, you and yourself. And then FaceTime with family and friends. It may look like a single line, but FaceTime with family is different and FaceTime with friends is different. And then, though things have changed, but since a lot of people might be traveling to their office, right, their workspace. So how much time you're actually spending in your travel, right? Traveling to the office or traveling back, or how much you're traveling every day? What is your travel time in a week also? And then nowadays I've seen, and I myself end up wasting at times, a lot of time on a mobile screen. You end up, there are such a apps which actually take away your attention before you realize your half an hour is gone, right? So there is a screen time, whether it's on a laptop or on a mobile or on a TV. You need to see and find out what is your screen time, right? And then anything where you are waiting for something to happen is your queuing time. The moment you segregate entire day of yours into these buckets, you would realize by yourself, without any magic trick, that how is your day balanced or unbalanced, what all things you need to do, what all things you don't need to do, or what are the things that need to cut out, which are toxic and eating away your time, the most precious commodity in your life, right? So you have to consciously plan your day. And if you've been doing it, lovely. And there are multiple tools, multiple apps that you can possibly help you. The reason I'm writing question mark is because this is something that you have to do it by yourself. Write it down. If you're not using it, depending upon, you have to figure it out, do it a bit of a Googling and all, you will figure that out. There are multiple ways to look at. You can do a paper pen exercise. Now comes the magic part, when I tell you that how is you or a leader versus ordinary person different. A lot of time we agree to an activity where we say, hey, I'll do it for you, and these are the man hours that I may need. So the profit is actually depending upon how much optimization you are bringing on to, with less number of people, you are achieving a larger amount of work hours, right? So multiplying, the key to multiply your 8 hours is when you're actually managing a team. All of you who are managers today, managing team today, or maybe managing it tomorrow, you would realize that you are actually doing, if you have 4 chaps, you're actually doing 32 hours. If you have 10 chaps, you're actually managing 80 hours of somebody else. And how best you are effectively managing it will actually tell whether you are a good leader or not in your position, whether you're ready for a, upper ladder. You can go up the ladder or not, because everything is driven by results, right? Now, to do so, we all know, and I'm dead sure that we all have done this exercise, that whenever we are in a team, when we are a manager, even when we are a junior member of the staff, we realize that there are goals that are binded to your role. There's a goal binding exercise initially when we start. Then we are communicated certain milestone, or we communicate milestone to our people, our team. We plan activities, we monitor results, we tell our team these are the do's and don'ts, and we tell them to recalibrate or not. And if we are successful, awesome, we celebrate, right? Now this will look simple, but I'll tell you what I have seen, because mind you, if I've worked more than 12 organizations in my career so far, I have seen these activities. I have seen very less number of people who are very effectively doing this exercise very nicely. It is the most wasteful exercise. A lot of people do it just for the purpose of the HR head is to have told them to do so, and hence we are doing. Most of the time, organization and individuals run everything on an ad hoc basis. I am dead sure you will agree to this. And even we adopt a tool. For example, there are Jiras to manage project management. There are multiple. There is Kanban. There are asanas. There are so many tools which actually tells you to manage your plan, you know your agile team running process, or your projects, or everything, anything that you're doing. But bottom line is this is something which takes away, I am dead sure, 2 hours in a day. If 8 hours working hour, 2 hours are taken by this overhead. This is nothing but an overhead. If you are able to do it automatically, plan it in a fashion, then this works. This actually brings a lot of time, a free time in your bucket, and takes away a lot of things, efforts which actually makes you slow. Now, for all these things to do, there are framework, and I'll touch upon one framework which I found to be very, very effective, and subsequent tools that will actually help us to see how do we improve upon small little things which eventually will help us in this bigger goal. I think there's a line which is missing, which says, and this is when I say the why is the need of digital literacy. As I said, we are all literally digital literate, but then we'll talk about those tools which will actually help us. See, if you're an entrepreneur, since I am actually helping startups to raise funds, and I myself has been part of, as a founder, I reached to multiple VCs, angels, without doing the background of it. I did a what do you say, reach all, and attempting and pitching to everyone. So digital literacy is also important in terms of not only as to knowing these tools, but also what is the Indian stack, what is the framework that is available today, what is a startup of a Odisha startup program is doing, what is this. For example, we have this Aadhaar card based KYC. We have this Dropbox facility provided by the government. Not Dropbox, but there is a box where we have all our documents are there. There are multiple. There is a thing called India Stack, which enables you, gives you a huge amount of leverage without creating your own infrastructure. You can ride on top of it and create something. There are multiple sandboxes available. There are multiple. So in terms of capital, there are grants from governments, multiple organizations like SIDBI. For example, nowadays lending is being done by ONDC. SIDBI is doing Udyam. So you need to be aware of not only tools, but also what is there, a digital infrastructure is available, and what are the associated capital being given by the government, right? So China, for example, China government has done way too better in this space, and Indian government is also doing its part, both state government and central government, multiple organizations which are actually introducing multiple infrastructures, and access to banks, access to data, access to GST data, so you can build on use cases on top of it. So mind you, so digital literacy goes one layer above this, and you need to be aware of that. I'm not covering that because we want to make sure that we are not we're cutting short of time out here. Let me just jump onto this slide. See, this is taken from a AI evangelist on a Twitter. He said, hey, these are the enhanced efficiency AI tools. It saves you tons of time. Let me tell you, after ChatGPT got everybody's attention, there are a lot of wrappers. Wrappers are nothing but a wrapper created on top of ChatGPT, and these wrappers do certain use cases, right? A very specified use case, and the user interface is pretty awesome. A normal person can use. But let me tell you very frankly, I have tried, a few of these so-called AI tools. A lot of them, mostly the wrapper ones, which are essentially nothing but a wrapper, they failed miserably. So not everything with a lovely photograph and a lovely GIF or a pic stating that this is an awesome tool, and 10 evangelists actually advocating that not all tools are awesome. So don't fall into the trap of this. Non-AI tool as of now are also superbly useful and will save you tons of time. I'll rush. The most important thing after time is words. Words have power, and it changes everything. Literally, words are just like time, which is a unit. Words ride on that time. Just like we have this carrier wave and the signal ride of those carrier wave in telco, words actually ride the time, the unit of time. Just as the sages or somebody who's doing chanting, right? They chant the word, the sacred word on their breath. Similarly, the word that we are and achieve salvation, right? Out here, for you to achieve salvation in your career or any success that you want to achieve, you need to ensure that you are very careful with the words that you have using, because every word that you speak has power. It can convert, it can inspire, it can give hope, it can create bridges, it can destroy bridges, it can do wonders, and it can actually have a huge impact not only others but also on yourself. And since everything is people to people, you will end up either creating something, building something, or end up destroying something. So you need to be very, very careful of what you say, and the power of your words, not power of words. Of course, every word is powerful, but then the power of your words is something. You know, I wanted to make it a little more emphasize on this deck slide, stating that the first line of the Bible is that in the beginning there was a word, the word was with God, and the word itself was God. Right. Bottom line is this. So I'll not go into the spiritual part of it, but the words are basically vehicles of your thought. What you think is basically shown to others in terms of a group of words. As I said, when you hear a right word, right, when you hear it, it gives power to your soul, and it gives powers to your action. Somebody praising you, inspiring you, right? You're actually, you literally get, double your energy get doubled up. I'm sure as a parent, most of you are doing it with your kids, right? And then again, let me tell you this, only the words that you say in a pitch deck will get you funding, right? Not any individual. Even I say I'm super awesome. I know literally, every VCs, and they on just because on my face value they're gonna go give you funding. It doesn't happen that. You need to be very careful in your pitch deck. You have to be very careful in your meetings, in your discussions, because words actually creates trans. Words give a picture of your dreams, convert those dreams to reality. It literally gives life to everything, right? To those remain, even the hidden part of hidden word, right? So again, two aspect of it. One is that what you speak. While I'm speaking, I have, my face expression is there, my lovely face is also there, my aura, I'm using my hand gesture, shouldn't be using it. But then when you are writing a mail on writing a mail on a or a message on a chat or an email or anything, please realize your written words do not have a body language, do not have your face expression, do not have your aura, and it doesn't have an intonation of your, the rhythm and the voice going up and down. So you need to be very, very, if you are conscious, right, while speaking words, you have to be very careful what you are writing, right? This is important. And please realize, consciously see, जब आप in your career progression, assuming you are trying for a new job, you're writing a cover letter, right? You need to ensure, measure, what are those words that you write, you receive back a response, right? And where that sometimes you send something and it is totally off, right? So, and it happens in the normal conversation. Sometimes you get an attention, sometimes you don't. It happens with the senior guys, the junior guys. You need to measure and categorize the words which makes you as an effective speaker, effective writer, and actually gets the desired results. Cut out on those words which are not giving you results and start using it more. There is a book called The Power of Yet, actually. YET, The Power of Yet. Not as yet, I'll be doing it, something like that. So there are two components of a word that we say. One is a connotation, one is a denotation. Denotation is nothing but a literal meaning of a word, right? And connotation is both, can be positive, can be negative. Connotation is essentially sometimes associated with negative. For example, relaxed and lazy. Relaxed means you're very relaxed, right? But the moment I use the word lazy, it has a negative connotation, right? That is the reason I specifically mentioned these two words, that you should be knowing it. So mind you, a lot of time it happens with me when I was running my startup, when things were not translating as we want, we end up developing a fixed mindset. We are not able to figure it out because of repeated failure or repeated outcomes which are not favorable. We develop a mindset which is not so great, which actually hampers you, which actually literally halts you there. You're in a fix. You don't know what to move. आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता what need to be done, right? And you start using a lingo where your time and again mentioning of a particular failure, your time again drooling over, यार ये सही कर लेता, this was the mistake, that was my mistake, मैं इतना ही कर सकता हूँ, that guy is better than me. You end up using a lot of sentences in your day-to-day life which are not positive, unknowingly you are actually training your mindset into a fixed mindset which is already fixed because of the failures that you face so far. So with the right set of words, and you have to consciously do it, assumingly anyone of in our audience is in such a state, please realize by using the right set of words, right, positive words, I can do it, not as yet, I'll be doing it, this is an opportunity, let me learn this. By using the positive sets of words, you can train your mind into a positive mindset, into a growth mindset. Elon Musk, the name that I mentioned at the bottom half, he'll give you a link. I believe that gentleman is the epitome of what a growth mindset is, and he keep re-innovating himself all the time. Not because of failure, but he wants to do more, wants to achieve more, right? Because time is limited. You need to bring the best out of the time, right? Um, this is important. Take it with you. I'll come to the part which is most important: career progression. What is career progression at the end of the day? Career progression is which actually enables us a financial security over a period of time. The only definition of career progression is not fancy designation, a corner bigger room where everybody is reporting into you. That is not what a career progression is. That is that is that is nothing but a side effect. The core part is that you need to be financially secure, right? That is one part. And of course, if you have satisfaction and other things also come, but this is also the predominantly the base of it. I'll not talk about the money out here, but bottom line is this: the most important part of career progression with digital. So all those tools, all those things, the wow factor that comes with those tools will help you create relationship. When you are actually cutting out, on a sorry story, cutting out on time, you end up, there are a lot of times there's a lot of friction if your things are not smoothly planned, not smoothly done. It spoils your relationship a lot of time. And sometimes you carry that, all that overload into your mind, the stress at your home, and you start impacting everything, your family life, your social circles, everything, and it reflects everywhere. So with that background, with all digital literacy, with all those tools, the wow factor comes. You have a bandwidth to create, champion your networks. Now, what is the power of your network? This is something that you need to measure it. You need to measure it. But let me tell you, let me guide you as to what is going to help you in career. You need to make sure that you write it down on a piece of paper, 5 buckets, 5 columns, who all there are in your social networks. Social networks are generally big, you don't need to write it down, but social network is something which you're connected on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, where you're connected, right? Personal networks are something where you are interacting with some individual corresponding to certain activity, and you know that person on and off. You've been, talking to that person at a lot of times for particular activity. No connection as such, but you're talking to that person. The recreational network is something, assuming you're going to a gym, satsang, any activity. You're a swimmer, you have a cycling gang in the morning, you play football, any recreational activity, you're a magician, anything. The people that you connect with at your recreational activity place are your recreational network, right? And then a professional network, it. Educational network is something with whom you have studied in your college days, postgrad days, things like that. In fact, right now, for example, all these 5 buckets, right, are something that you are investing your precious time, the most precious commodity of your life, right? Now, for that to happen, you need to practice practice and champion your network map, right? What is championing a network map means? Iska matlab kya? What does it mean actually? So basically, anybody identify. So you have this bigger, 5 buckets. Who is your go-to person? What is your go-to person count? I mean, how many people, assuming you have changed your company, do you have a guy whom you can go back straight away and talk to him about something? So you need to have somebody in your person who is your go-to person in all these buckets. Generally, I have seen people have either one or two whom they generally discuss everything with respect to everything. You need to make for somebody, for entrepreneurs, for businessmen, for people in jobs, for job progression, for job switches in a higher role. Even when you are jobless and you want to go back, you want to reinvent, go into a different sector, everything moves because of network. It is the most important element in the career growth. Otherwise it will not fly. And I'm telling you this, you're going to be very lucky The more the higher the letter you go, you need to have connects. When I say connect, doesn't mean connect mean I know that Mama ji ka ladka and all that, that happens politics, but still you need to have connects. How do you need to consciously make sure that you are wishing somebody, connecting with people, remembering their birthdays. The digital tool will help you, right? Similarly, with people who are closer to you, you need to make sure that you're actually going dining out with them, taking them out, going with them, spend time with them. You have to invest in them, and these people eventually gonna help you, reach your far higher. As I said, 8 hours are limited. The moment you're having lunch, dinner, or even a tea or a smoke session or a drinks with someone, you're actually investing with them. It's gonna go a long way. You don't even know the dimension of the value of this network. So mind you, all the tools that you can possibly think of, use it, increase. These are things which are, tools are nothing but enablers, right? At the end of the day, the core fundamental stays the same. Well, thank you everyone.